You are live. Well, hey, internet friends. Ooh. We are live. I've actually done it right this time. Fucking hell, even managed to get a picture up. I mean, come on, folks. Come on. Give us a little bit of credit. Where am I here? Oh, who's looking? So, here we go. Hey, Blazing Scar. How's you go? What's the story? Just waiting on a few people to come in. Hey, tacos. I'm going to be talking about the Puppeteers of YouTube. It was a lovely day here too. Scar, lovely day. Sun splitting the trees. Too bloody warm for me. I hate the heat. I can't stand it. Give me a cold day any day of the week. As long as it's a wee bit of, as long as it's dry. Don't mind it cold as long as it's dry. When it's wet. Ugh. You'll load yourself a little pipe. Man, I wish I could do the same. There's no way I cannot smoke and communicate with people and make sense. So I cannot do it at all. All right, I'm going to drop a wee link in the chat there for Renee. She's going to be joining me here at the beginning, and I'll throw a link out later on. And if anybody else wants to come on and talk about things, they're more than welcome. So invite, copy. You know, people want to talk about their experience with the puppeteers of YouTube. Are more than welcome. So it's Sunday in the UK, at least, anyway. For now, and I thought let's do a wee live stream. Haven't done one for a while. The last time we did one, we talked about the lunatics on here. We didn't name any names, and one of the things tonight now, I noticed there's a lot of crap going on YouTube, a lot of tit for tat, a lot of insurgents is what I would call it. Insurgency warfare, and that only happens when something bigger is going on in the background, and that's to distract you. So I thought, well, let's forget about the channels that go about attacking you, because there's always a lot more to it behind the scenes. And it's came to light recently through one channel who have been doing a bit of attacking, and they've been saying a few things at the same time. In fact, it's probably been saying too much without realizing it. They're telling us too much, and they don't realize it because I don't think they're smart enough to play games with us. Hold on, I'll just let Renee on. Ta-da! Renee, you're here.
Hi, Scoob.
All right, Gar, how's tricks for you?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
I had a very good week, very very quiet week, very relaxing. I had a bit of crack. I even I went, believe it or not, I went to a friend's house. Now I couldn't go inside my friend's house. And what I did was I stood at their end of their driveway, and they stood at their doorstep, and we had a conversation for about an hour. So we did, good crack. Now people might be, well, what, you stood freaking, yeah. But the thing is, we always did that anyway, not because of social distancing. It's just that when I'd be down there and I'd be going home, you go out to the car to drive off, and you end up standing there for an hour anyway. He's at his doorstep. I'm at the car. I'm shouting from the window, and he's shouting from his doorstep. Maybe we're a bit noisy, but we always have a laugh. So I did that, and I seen a few friends there. Couldn't reach out and give anybody a hug though. But nobody wants to hug me anyway. So, but a nice week, nice quiet week. I've seen a few of the nonsense go on here, so I have, and not paid too much attention to all of it. But there was one particular video that I did watch. There was a channel about a week and a half ago that got tore into a subscriber or somebody who appeared in my comment section, and asked a few questions of them. And then when they started up a channel, that other person went over and commented. And this subscriber or commenter is called Skills, Skillz, I think it is. They put up a video yesterday, and I would tell anybody go and watch it. That's probably the second video I watched this week. Oh, holy moly! And I was so lucky that I caught it when I did, because I was just in. I looked up the freaking my iPad because I don't use a smartphone whenever I leave a house or anything like that. I've got an old phone that I use, just the SIM card, nothing else. And that's it. And believe it or not, it's the same SIM card that I've had for must be about 19 years now. That hasn't even had to be changed. So, yeah, when I leave the house, all I've got access to is basically text messages and phone calls. So I don't see anything when I'm not at home. But when I come home, I'll fire up the iPad and I'll have a look to see if there's anything interesting. And I saw this video and I was like, holy crap. I was in stitches. I was laughing my bollocks off. Now, what makes it the most comical is the last piece of it, the very last bit of it. It's the image of a channel, right? This guy who runs a channel, right? And he's running. This image is actually him. You can't doctor this, you can't deny this. It's actually him. And it's a guy actually pretending to suck a dick. And he even makes the noises. And I was like, holy good fuck. I was in stitches. But the guy or lady who owns that channel or whatever, Skills, it was her comedic timing of it. It was just in the right place at the right time. Oh, fuck, it was hilarious. But I couldn't believe the footage that I saw. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, there's a picture of this fucking guy pretending this. It's not even a picture, it's video footage of this guy pretending to suck a dick. I've never done that in my life, folks. I never will do it either. But this guy was pretending to suck a dick, and I just thought, this is fucking hilarious, man. I was in stitches. So that was the funniest thing that happened to me in fucking YouTube. You know, the funniest thing that happened to me in YouTube this week. I was in fucking stitches. I'm not kidding you. I normally sit in a recliner just because I have the fucking legs up, and it wouldn't be fully reclined or any shit like that there. Fuck, I had to put the chair up. I had to stand up, and when I stood up, oh, my stomach was hurting that fucking much. I was buckled over in two. It was hilarious. I was in stitches. I don't know. I don't see how that channel is ever going to recover from this. I mean, people can call me a liar. They can call me a liar and a bullshitter and all the rest of it. But one thing they can't say is I pretend to suck dicks. Oh dear God. I was in fucking stitches. So skills. If you're about, you're. Thank you for wow, making my week. You know, that was the funniest video I saw on YouTube this week. And if I was still doing Wanker of the Week awards, wow. Maybe I should do Wanker of the Week awards. I don't know. Maybe I should go back to it. See, I don't like streaming too much, right? Because everybody streams, okay? At the same time, there was a couple of times I was going to stream this week, and other people were streaming, and I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, you know. And for me to go past this, you know, like 10 p.m. my time, it's too late for me, you know. So, but I'm wanting to maybe stream a couple of times a week. I would love to do something for a bit of fun with, you know, what do you call that? What I used to do a long time ago, Wanker of the Week award. Only it wouldn't be called Wanker of the Week because we don't go backwards, for folks. We go forwards. You know, my goodness. So where was I anyway before that? Yeah, we've had a good week. YouTube's been interesting. I've seen a lot of a wee bit of tit for tat. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of it, folks. Because I know what it is now. I think we all know what it is now. It's the same story, only different faces. So I thought it would be more interesting, instead of talking about sock accounts or channels that come out and attack you and things like that, I thought to myself, let's go after the puppeteers. You know, the people that are in the background, you know, pulling the strings that seem to manipulate everybody, things like that. You know, from my side of things, you know, I'm talking about from the part of YouTube that I've been involved in. That would be, you'd be talking about China the Three, you'd be talking about FK and Freddy, and you'd be talking about Lee Veltman. Those are three people that I would call, you know, gatekeepers that involve themselves around all our channels, suck people in. You know, China sucked me in. There's no doubt about that. You know, I'm not going to fucking pretend he didn't. He sucked me in, give him the benefit of the doubt. The same way as I give everybody a lot of benefit of the doubt on this platform as well. Even whenever the trolls come in and things like that, I give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, and then once they play up or be assholes, they're gone. But
You know, and Scooby too, you know, Becky knows quite a bit about the people behind the scenes as well. She's had to deal with them
Yeah.
personally.
Well, that's cool. Like, I mean, I'm more than happy if anybody, I drop link on there, and if anybody wants to come on and talk about the puppeteers with me, that's not a problem. You can have a link. I'll drop a wee link in there. Hold on. Paste. There's a link if you want to come in and fucking talk about because we all know there's different sides here, and we've all been involved in different pockets around here, right?
Well, it's interesting. What I'd like to know with well, China does the common denominator. And I never had an issue with China. He's always kind of been a bit behind the scenes whilst being on the forefront. And I did notice I made a comment. He made a Cappy video after Cappy had passed. So what was that, over a year ago? And I was just commenting on I never go to his videos much and leave comments, but I did because I had something to say about the AED pads that were on Cappy and what he looked like in those photos. And China was always kind of okay with me. He would leave comments here and there and be fine. I remember him saying, "What are you doing?" Not to about any of you, but he's like, "What are you?" I think it was with Freddie. He's like, "Why are you fighting with these losers? You should have better. You're pretty. You have better things to do." Because China likes pretty girls. He's got a weakness for that. And then all of a sudden, I made the comment on the Cappy video, and he flipped out, and he was saying, I'm blocking you, fuck you, basically. You hang out with people like Urban Disciples. And I was sort of blindsided. I had no idea what the problems were, like why he'd always been nice and then changed his mind. And then not only that, and I said, fine, dude, no problems, I won't make comments on your videos. And I never went back. And then I find his dumbass on my videos saying, I blocked you, Gimp. I'm like, I thought you blocked me a year ago. What the fuck are you okay? Like, why are you over here if I'm so disgusting and awful? Like, why are you on my channel leaving comments? It doesn't make sense. He, you know, clearly he's inserting himself in behind the scenes. What's up, Becky?
Hi, I'm over here. The Stars didn't know my name. Hi, Stars. Yep, it's Becky. Yeah, I met him on bad terms, but it was 4 years ago, and he really hates Americans, and he really does. He hates
The
America.
funny thing is, I love it. They all hate us, the Canadians, but the best part is my whole family's from fucking Canada. So yeah, fuck you too. Sorry, go ahead.
I know I have no problems with Canada, but China does not like. But he's been a troll ever since he's been on here. He enjoys it, but then he whines when it's done back to him. And he's manipulated.
Clearly, right? The Monty stuff has been going on for an eternity.
Yeah,
Whether
I mean,
that's fake or real.
who would sit there and call someone 50 times in one night and not expect to get in trouble for it? You know, contacting someone like that. And I'm for no sides on that. But what I saw is just him nonstop. And he plans against people. He wants to take channels down, and he manipulates people. He gets them in thinking that they're doing a good thing. This is for a good cause.
Yeah.
And Jackal, I think that's, probably what happened to you.
Oh, it is, without doubt. It is, without doubt. I get sucked in. Many respects now, even if I was to go and talk to Canada now and watch some of his videos, there's many aspects to them that I would agree with. Same with Freddie, there's many aspects to what he was talking about at the time that I agreed with. And that's what they rely on to talk about a subject that is only going to affect a certain group of people, i.e. people who've been around and watched the bullshit, that don't believe that in the truth community anymore, who see the frauds scamming to make money. And he sells a story to you then, I've been here since 2001 or whatever it is, And he says the right things at the right time, and he plays you along. Like, and he's good at it. What he does, but once you catch on to him, that's it. There's no returning back. You can't
You
catch
can't
on to
freely
him.
leave. You can't
Yeah.
freely leave without, him coming down on you and him getting everyone against you and him doing awful things, and it never dies down. I know since 2016 he's been doing it.
I mean, he put out he would put out videos, and there would be absolutely ridiculous videos, but my avatar would be the main thing that you would see and be familiar with in the video, and he'd just be talking rubbish, and then the next thing I would get attacks. That was one of the things that I felt was a trigger to his little flying monkeys. They would get notifications to his videos. They would see from his topic that he wants such and such attacked, and then they would do that.
Yeah, same here. I got a whole, and I think everyone's probably heard, but I got a whole slew of videos that has my full legal name, and it says transvestigation with me with my face all over it and my name, and it's horse porn. Yeah, it's women naked pretending to be horses, and it's just, and he's did other stuff like that. He contacted, I had a case that's over a decade old. At the time, it was over a decade old in eBay. Him and this Brenda hunted down my eBay account, contacted this eBay seller over horse training DVDs that I had a disagreement with because they came here broke. They contacted her to try to get a lien put on my house. Now that's stepping into real life reality here. They were all, they even put the eBay seller's name in the title and then contacted her to try to get me in, I don't know what, some kind of legal trouble, but it didn't work. But the fact is they reached through the computer, and it's not just on YouTubia anymore. They try to hurt you in real life.
Oh, there's without doubt that goes on. When I came back, I mean, as you all know, I stayed off YouTube for like 9-10 months. I wasn't off having a baby or anything like that. But when I did come back, I wasn't expecting things to ramp up the way they did. I thought, fucking hell, man, some people definitely didn't want me to come back. Now, as curious as it is, I'd been on a hangout with Lee Veltman, and that was still active in my hangouts, right? And the one person out of everybody that I know on here, one person consistently was trying to reach me the whole time I was off, and that was him. Wanting to know was coming back and all that other stuff. And these people all pertain to hate each other, they don't get on. And yet there was a while there we had Freddie, Chandler, and Lee Veltman all in the same bandwagon together.
Yes, I remember that.
And they all got together, along with the stat, to go after this Thomas guy. Now, I don't know a lot about Thomas Schoenberger or whatever his name is. Right? I don't know a lot about him. I did invite him on to a Scooby live stream.
You're welcome to invite anybody you want on.
Yeah,
And just because you have a guest, it doesn't mean you agree with their viewpoints. That's sometimes why you have a guest on, just so you can find out.
Well, what I did was, because this was at the time whenever they were going after him, they were attacking him, and there were, it was pretty clear there was something going on, right? I spoke to DeFango at the time, and I said to him, "Do you want to come on? Freddie's fucking going all out on you here. Do you want to,
they're not exactly not their fucking best friend here either. Do you want to fucking come on the show? The Fango agreed, but he never came on. And then I came across the channel Sophia Music, and it's got some cool tunes in it, by the way. I came across it, and you know, I've seen other people's comments there, and so I left him a comment, and I asked him, you know, do you want to come on? No problem. He said he would come on, and then he, you know, give me your email and all that there. And I'd be honest with you, I got a bit fucking dubious with the guy. I wasn't sure who you're dealing with here. I don't like giving out my email just to anybody, etc. And so I was kind of a bit standoffish, and I never bothered contacting him again, and I left it at that. And I kind of wish I hadn't. I wish I'd have just fucking bored on and got him on the show, because I don't believe he's the boogie monster that everybody claims he is. I feel that when we saw Freddie, Canada, Lee Veltman, and Lestat coming together, that was multiple factions coming together to get rid of another faction.
Well, I don't know Thomas too well, but you have to be very careful because he plays many personalities. He uses different socks to be certain people, and you don't really know who he is then, because he's talking to himself under this account, pretending to be a female, and under this account trying to be a man that did this, and you don't know who's who. And I personally, when it gets up to that level, I just want to jump over their heads on that and go above that and see, you know, the agenda of it all. Who's the real puppeteers above them?
And you see that's what happens, isn't it? Whenever they start pretending to be other people and start that, then that leaves everybody with dubious questions, and that would make you skeptical of what the fuck is going on, you know. But when they all lost focus on what they were doing at that point, and at that point it was all about you know, they were still going on about gunk and all the rest of it. They dropped all that there to go for, you know, to go after this Thomas guy. And I just thought, wow, that was so
I will
I
say
just
there
thought it
is an
was-
agenda to dirty him more than he's dirtied himself. I
yeah,
can see that. Like, he has to own what he's done and who he is and his actions. But there's a lot of I don't personally trust him because of the socks and what I see him in Twitter doing and on his channel, what he's doing. But I also see where majorly there's many other people coming after him too. So, and I don't know Lestat too well, but lately he's I don't know what to think of him because he's starting to put out some good research, but I don't know him well enough to know if it's biased research or if it's genuine, you know.
yeah. Well, I had no issue with Lestat either. I had him on. He was on one of my live streams, one of the Scooby Doo live streams there. I suppose what, a year and a half ago, he came on and he sat and talked for, you know, must have been over 2 hours anyway. And when I got off the stream, you know, I felt right okay. I was all right. And I felt that the stats seemed, you know, I was happy enough with how things went and you know, dealing with him. So I didn't really have any huge problems with the stat either. But the pockets of YouTube that I've been involved with and that who have seen, you know, who kind of sucked me in and then got me to do their bidding.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I stand up and say, nah, I'm not doing that there, or I don't want to do that, or I'm not interested in doing that there, that's whenever the shit hits the fan. I'm sure everybody has heard about this whole Archangel or the $10,000 scam that one of the Mr. Gunks friends and the Pizzagate friends were supposed to be setting up. I don't believe it was a scam at all. I think they were actually going to do a monument, because when I did the research into the fake LARP, when I started researching it and I saw the price, how much it would cost to put something of what they chose from within their range that you could put up, it was like 5,000. $5,000 was nothing. It went up as 25,000 or something like that there, where you could,
It really
you could
got
add a
raised.
building. Yeah, so I mean, 10,000 to stick a bit of a monument in a park was not a ridiculous amount of money to ask for, for people. Was their intentions as genuine as claimed? Probably not. Were they going to put a memorial up? Probably so. But at the end of the day, it didn't go anywhere. But the reason why that all happened was because of my work. I know OG and Freddie have all, both agreed and come out and said that it was because of me. But
What? Wait a minute. It was because of you?
it was because of my work that revealed,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? That kind of forced them in. That it was like I discovered one thing, and the whole memorial was like a domino effect of it coming down. And so they were wanting the videos to be able to carry it on. And then I was sick at the time as well. I'm like, hang on, you're fucking going to make off my work. And you turn around and say that I copied yous, that I did this, that I did that. But they've been living
That's
for
what
the
I
last
saw.
year off my work.
I wasn't talking to you at the time, but I was sitting back and watching, and that's exact. I saw you do a video, and it rocked, and you were. It was good information, and then all of a sudden, you're in this group of people, and it to me, I just want to say, don't take it the wrong way, because so many people use another, manipulate them, take them for what they have, and then toss them back aside. And you can't, because you can't
Yeah.
walk out freely, because now you found out the true,
Yeah.
And I can say, well, there's people that's been manipulated with me and did things to me, and I did things to them. But once they figured it out, there's no sense in ill feelings. We're fine with each other. We don't have to be best friends, but you got to understand, people get manipulated, and if they get out of it, good. After that, you shouldn't be jerking around with them.
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to mention certain names here, but recently, there's been a channel attacking me recently, and that channel has come out and said several times, I've heard them say it themselves, I don't watch your stuff. Other people come and tell me. Other people come and tell me what's going down. Other people come and tell me, right? So I'm looking at that right now. Hold on. And then I see them make an apology to somebody that they fell out with over a year ago, that they were quite vicious with in what they said. And they made a public apology to them and said, I was being manipulated at the time. People were telling me one thing. Now, this seems to be a trend with this channel, and I'm saying to myself, if people are coming to tell you all this shit about me, why are you not asking yourself, what am I doing here? What is my role here?
Or why isn't he coming to you to ask you directly instead of doing public videos?
I mean, because whenever I come back here, I didn't come back guns blazing. I got rid of my channel. I dropped the channel altogether and I started this one.
I know
because
today
just
you're a golden jackal.
Yeah, Golden Jackal today. Changed my name, but I changed the name on purpose because I wanted to see how quickly it would take for a certain group of people to react, notice it and react. And it didn't take them long at all. they reacted within fucking 12 hours of me changing it. You know,
Now, what
and
the
they took
sad,
actions with that.
the same thing happened to me when I added the 2.0. But I just want to say the sad thing is the chatters that listen, then they end up they feel like they have to draw a line in the sand and pick sides.
Yeah.
And then they also judge you because of another channel and what they're putting out.
Well, I don't
And
understand. I really don't understand how, you know, you're either here fulfilling a role or you're here to try and learn. Right? Those seem to be the two brackets. I'm here to try and learn.
yeah, the third bracket, I
That's
think, is drama and entertainment, and people just love to get one over on another person. I mean, sadly, humanity has free will, and a lot of people choose it to do ill.
so. I mean, but I'm surprised. I mean, they talk about being critical thinkers, and you're like, hold on. If somebody's coming to tell me this, and the end result is all I'm doing is putting out fucking aggression, 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 threats, 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 threats. You know, you're either a willing participant to that or you're being manipulated. And that's what I'm trying to figure out at the minute. Is this person being manipulated? And I want to say they are being manipulated because of the people, you know, the people that I know are around them are the same people that were around me trying to manipulate me. So I have
I
to,
would have to agree with you on that too. A lot of people get manipulated and don't know. Right now, I have
Becky, did you ever hear the phone call between Tretch, FK, and Freddie in China?
no. I heard there was a phone call, but I
yeah.
didn't hear the phone call.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that. They might, I mean, so before, when they were trying to make Tretch to look a certain way, I listened, you know, it was during the time where that video came out. And listening to China, especially, and Freddie, secondly, the way they were mind fucking him and trying to get him off YouTube and scare him, I knew right away, like, these people were not nice people. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't know that this is a bigger MO that isn't just these two gentlemen. You know what I mean? But the way they mind fucked him and were messing with, I couldn't believe it. It was clear that they were trying to screw with him. And if they were ever his friends, I didn't understand why they would do that.
I don't think China knows the word friend.
I would go as far to say is they were actually trying to induce a mental break with the guy with treats.
Yep.
Yep. That's exactly what China tried to do to me. Right there.
Um,
And I don't know F and Freddie, but I don't care to. I'll just say that. And OG,
well,
I had one conversation with. He allowed me to talk. He was nice to me, but I've seen his work. So, and what he does to others, so I'm not blind to that.
I really like the guy. I know he would have been the one person that he actually didn't associate with the others because when I met him, you know, he wasn't part of the group. He was on his own. He was doing his own thing. And the videos he was putting up at the time were bang on, but he's taken all that down, and I feel like you know, I don't know. I like the guy anyway.
Well, Scooby,
I'd never
Tretch
had
got
any
close.
issues with him.
Tretch got close with him too. And I think he is probably a nice person that got wrapped up with mind fuckery because likely he is a sympathetic person and he's fallen into some sort of trap, you know. He obviously has had close relationships with people. He's done good work. He's been nice. He does have it in him to be respectful to you, Becky, unlike some of the other things we've heard some of these men say, men in quotes. I use that term loosely.
He was the
I mean,
only man on that panel that talked like a man, like a gentleman, that didn't just scream at me and yeah, I also asked him directly, are you still with China? And he said he hasn't talked to China in over a year.
and it's hard to, it's unfortunate. I mean, because we do know he doesn't tell the truth all the time, or at the very least, his perspective is skewed big time. So even if, I mean, that would to me be the reason why he's turned into what he has or lost the good parts of himself, is because someone like China listening to him manipulate Tretch. That would make sense to me. Whoever's talking to him in the background, because if he was truly on his own, unless YouTube has messed him up and and left him in this state, like everybody said, they've had interactions with him where he's promising he can be a genuine person, but what the hell happened?
Yeah, see, go ahead.
I was going to say, I haven't seen enough of them. The interactions, just coming in and meeting with you guys is, I'm seeing more of them. I saw back when F and Freddie and him, they were all together. I saw that, and I haven't seen him since. And that was my first meeting, I should say, but I've never been able to talk to him until I was up on OJM's panel. And he, like I said, he was the only one that gave me respect, and I gave respect back too. And other than that, I don't know much about him, but seems like he got caught in a situation to me. I just don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Last year, right, whenever I went on to Flow Destroyer's channel and did a live stream with Flow Destroyer and OG and Freddie, and that was supposedly to put an end to everything. I was supposed to, give an email to Freddie, and I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll do it. I'll even do a video for you. There you go, along those lines." But the time the stream was over, it was like fucking 1 o'clock or something in the morning. I was shattered, and I messed about for a while trying to sort out, arranging, right, how can I do this without, if I want to give them the email, I want to make sure that that's all that the information that they get, just the email. You know what I mean? So it was getting late. And I was like, I'm going to bed. And then next couple of days, things went messy, and I had to step up in family life and do things that were more important than YouTube, and that's what I did. But the thing is, that whole thing with Flow Destroyer getting on his channel, one of the main people behind that was Lee Veltman. And Veltman wanted me to put an end to this with OG. He didn't care about Freddie. Freddie wasn't important. He didn't care about Freddie. He just wanted to put things to bed with OG. And, I was like, great, okay, no problem. I have no issue with that there. And so my impression whenever I was going on that stream was that me and him would actually have a proper conversation about things, but that's not how it turned out. But the main protagonist was Lee Veltman wanting me to calm things over or sort this out once and for all with OG. And I got the feeling it wasn't for my benefit, it was for OG's benefit. Now, at the time, Lee Veltman was back in my camp, so to speak. Says, yeah, I know this guy lied about it. We know that this was all bullshit, blah, blah, blah. So he was saying all the right things that I would want to hear, because I had maintained my innocence the whole way through, and he kept the same story, and the story has never changed.
Interesting.
And he was telling me in the background that he believed all this here and he saw it too, and other people saw it and they just wanted to put an end to it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, right, okay. No worries, that'll do me. And so that's how I felt things were. And then whenever I came back there, I talked to Lee on the Hangouts. I still have him on the Hangout there. But I always spoke to him on a call. You know, I always talked to him via the call part as if it was a phone call. You know, this time it didn't. It just exchanged messages, sorry, with him, and it was very bland per se. You know, he acted like he didn't bother with anything anymore. And then I was looking at through Twitter today, and I
Yeah, I just want to
see
let
the
you
guy
know.
fucking throwing the knife into me on Twitter. You know, and then I see his comments on fucking
Exactly.
OG's channel, and I'm like saying to myself, motherfucker, you're telling me one thing and doing another, and I bet you're doing the same thing to this guy too. I bet you're just fucking playing the two of us off each other because you and your fucking LARPing buddies have got fuck all to do over the summer here because you can't get LARPing because everybody's locked in the house. So you're
That's
going to have to
exactly what I
fucking-
got from Lee myself. I don't even know the man, but because I was on OGM's panel, he didn't like me. And then this Twitter, just follow a few of them. I didn't follow anybody to harass them. I haven't made any comments, haven't shared any tweets, but that's where it's at, folks. That's where all the drama's going down is on Twitter, and they show their true selves over there.
Yeah. I saw that today and I couldn't believe it. I was like, fucking hell. I mean, I did see comments and videos and things like that there. But when I saw him fucking posting a link of a video talking shit about me with a big thumbs up and laughing and all the rest of it, I says to myself, right, there's more to this cunt than me to say. Excuse the language, I shouldn't have said that, but I did because that's how I feel about him. I think he is one of the major puppeteers in the background here.
I agree.
Is manipulating people in a huge way. I mean, look, I genuinely, I'll say this, I genuinely don't have a hatred for anybody. I don't want to be in part of a fucking, gang wars. No interest in it. All I want to do is do what I've been doing.
And see,
That's
this
it.
is the thing, Scoob, is I see the same thing. But what is going to happen when you want to remove yourself is they keep on because they want you to take a bite.
Mhm.
And then you come live, and then because you don't understand why it's still going on, you thought it was settled. And it's like that's what they want you to do. They're going to keep you in the game. They're going to pull you, try to drag you in. And the same thing with me. I go over there and I think I'm just standing up for myself. And what do I get? Message underneath from the chatters who are supporting the different channels, you know? And it's like, wait a minute, you don't care to come over to listen to me, to learn. I want to do educational videos, but instead I have to keep addressing this, you know, because it's also damaging to your character for other chatters to think this way of you when you're trying to put out important information, because that ties in with how truthful you are, what, you know, when someone else is putting out a false narrative on you and you're trying to put out good information, it's kind of like taking one step forward and two steps back every time.
Because they want to control who puts out the information and what information gets put out. And if you come along and you put out information that's, relevant, is as honest as it can be, but it's not what they want put out. They're going, you're going to get attacked. You're going to, if they will, first of all, it seems to be that they'll embrace you at the beginning, they'll suss you out, and they'll probably invite you in. And then if you go in, that's whenever your problems start. Because if you
Yeah.
don't play ball, then you're out. And whenever you are out, you're forever, going to be pursued in some shape or form. And it does mess up anything that you want to do, anything, if you want to give out information that you found, or you understand something from experience before or whatever, and you want to talk about things, they screw you up. And they've ended up, when it comes to here, these guys, Lee Veltman, your FKM Freddy, and your Canada, they end up creating, gang warfare between people, and within that level of people who are subscribed and just watching the channels, most of them aren't there because they enjoy the channel. Most of them, not most of them, sorry, some of them are there to play the role out that Lee Veltman's probably give them.
Yes, it's all to discredit a person and discredit that person's narrative. And that's what the puppeteers use their puppets for, all their little minions for.
And you see the guys then that have been involved with the puppeteers, once they're in with them too, they can't leave. I mean, if I'm having this much problem just trying to leave, right? Can you imagine what it's like for somebody like I don't know, I'll just throw a fucking name out of a hat. I don't even want to put a name out of a hat. But can you imagine if it's somebody who's been doing their bidding, who's been, manipulating a channel owner, who's been carrying stories backwards and forwards and all the rest? Can you imagine, and they've been doing it for quite some time, can you imagine what sort of repercussions would be in store for them if they went against the grain? Because they've probably
Right.
got all sorts of messages, all sorts of, things like that there that they could
Oh,
pull
it's
them
all
up on.
stored.
Yeah, it's all stored to use against you. And one of the things now, the likes of Lee Veltman, anytime that I did talk to Lee Veltman on a call, he always always, and I mean always, 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 always focused on Renee. Without doubt. He can't stand her. She's a problem. He puts her as being a problem, and the such as these people who are scamming YouTubers.
It's now
He,
becoming Renee and Becky. And it's because they can't just stomp on top of us like they did to some women.
yeah.
I speak up and Renee speaks up.
Well, when I seen that there, it wasn't just Renee. I mean, Kickstone would get it doing over as well.
Oh, she
And
got it bad. Yeah.
she, when I heard him constantly trying to, even whenever I came back there, focusing on the same thing, I was like, look, I know these two ladies. I know them well. I know them a long time now. I've been talking to them for a long time, and although I hadn't talked to them for while I was away, I knew them very well before that, and they're not that type of people. You antagonize them, they're not gonna, they're not gonna let you walk over the top of them and whatnot. But they're not the type of people that go looking for bother. They're not the type of people that fucking just want to stir shit up and go around calling, go around trolling other channels. And that's one of the biggest things that I find with this pocket. A lot of people that come around here is nobody really goes trolling around the other channels. Trying to cause upset. It always comes from the opposite side. It always comes from the people associated with them. So when they try and tell me that Renee's a big issue, I'm like, fuck.
But yet they all, as soon as she hits that live button, They're all in there.
Yeah.
They're all in
Gordon.
there putting her down, messing with her, never leaving her alone to where she can't even focus because it's nothing full of hate in her chat room. She knows the ones that I'm always going to stick by her side. I've seen Kick drawn through it. I've seen Malibu drawn through it. I've seen lots of people be dragged through it. And like China to Threes from 2016, he said my friend was going to be off the internet, and here it is, 2020. That's, that's why he had that burnt toast, and that's why, and if he's not talking to Freddie now, that's a good thing. But I'd have to talk to Freddie to see what he's all about. I think OG is more open to better communication than what Lee
Freddie's
Bellman
a
is.
deflector and full of shit too, like China does.
Is
I,
he?
w- I would have said at the beginning, whenever I started calling people out, I didn't call out OJ. I always said I give him the benefit of the doubt of just being tied up with these people, and but it would have been him that came attacking me, and I always felt that they were pulling the strings in the background. Because he never come across as being that type of person. I mean, even whenever we first met, anybody will tell you, he was quite a calm, relaxed guy. All the rest of it, you just wouldn't have had him down. Was one of them losers. Whereas, Freddie is a manipulator of people too. I call him the people collector because he goes around collecting people, and that is exactly what the guy did.
That's exactly what China does too, by the way. If you notice, after he loses people, and someone in the chat earlier said because they wanted your work or something like that too. But China does the same thing. He goes through people. And please know that in my situation, money was exchanging hands like crazy. So, like you say, Tofango, no offense, but he's well known to pay money to people to go attack other channels and other people that give him trouble.
Yeah.
And it
So-
only costs $40 to sell your soul. Woo!
Exactly.
I mean, that's crazy. $40 to go on attack. I give you $40, you go attack somebody. I mean, come on, for fuck's sake. But that seems to be. I mean, I would definitely put Veltman, China, and Freddie in that bracket, that top tier bracket of going round. I'm not saying that they are the finish; they're at the very top, but they're above the channels. They're the ones that are going around manipulating other channels.
Yes.
In any shape or form that they can. Like, I mean, I've noticed China popping up in comment sections where I wouldn't expect to see him, especially if I've mentioned the channel in the live stream. And whenever you go to, you click on the comments and there he is, and you're like, man,
And see, now they got this, they're recruiting people from my past via this OJM. And, and so now more are coming together. So you'll probably soon have others on you because OGM's recruiting like crazy for him. He truly is going to all the channels saying, beware of Becky and Renee. I've seen it on the old channels that were arguing with me. And it's like, they don't even know Renee, but now they're blasting Renee just because they know me and Renee talks to me. That's how it does. It's crazy how people
It's not
think
going to stop me.
I know.
Go in your chat. Fuck them.
Exactly. But it's the stupidity of drawing a line in a sand over a name without knowing a person. And this is humanity. I look at us as all one race. This is humanity, and we all should be fighting for the better good. But instead, we're out there recruiting people and trying to hurt people. That's what they're doing. It's like, to take away channels and turn the narrative for what? Who's above them?
Yeah, I don't get it myself. I don't know. And again, it must be about money. It must be. Well, money must be a player in it anyway. I know in the real world, I'm a type of person that I go up, I'll interact with anybody, especially see where we're all queuing up at the minute to get into stores and things like that. I talk to people around me. I'll start up a conversation with anybody, and that's the way I am. I talk to people.
You did. Like when I first met you, you didn't even know who I was. And we just started talking. And you were very polite to me and just welcomed me on. I think we were on Renee's panel, actually. And yeah, why can't that just be done? I don't understand.
Well, Becky, we pointed out the other night too. Look at how the streams were different. OGM stream is like a never-ending shit show of ridiculousness, and then Aaron's stream, just like this one, is calm, rational. I mean, you don't hear us spouting crazy fucking slanderous ad homs about people that are unprovable, that we have no proof for. You know what I mean? There's a
Excellent point.
difference. And yeah, I mean, enough said. And if people that are watching don't recognize that, as far as I'm concerned, that's their problem. That's their problem to deal with. I don't want to waste my time defending anything. You know what I mean? We don't really
I
we
understand
talk
that
about it,
because
but
I'm
yeah,
stopping
trying to go
defending
on their
myself.
screen and trying to rationalize with them. You saw how successful that was, right?
Yeah, or go watch other channels that are cussing and slandering, and then they put their video on private. But because I keep mine on public, then come underneath my video and preach from your glass house about how I'm not so close to God or whatever, because I'm doing this and shame on me for this. Yet they get drunk and do their live streams and banter away, and they'll either keep it up or take it down. But it's like if they take it down, it didn't happen. Well, yes, it happened. It's still there, folks. So
How can you literally make a video saying you're the type of guy who defends women that get treated verbally abused with nasty language, but you're actually doing that while you're saying you're that person? I mean, you can't. That is a complete dichotomy. You cannot. If you are aware enough that that's disrespectful to do, that you would defend against it in certain circumstances only, like, that's hypocritical. You either have
exactly.
class as a man or you don't. And I think if that needs to be spelled out to you when you're watching someone behave in this way, and then say they're children, and then so what do you call children the C word? I mean, what are you getting at here? You're not making sense. You want to keep degrading, but you're contradicting yourself and making yourself look like a piece of crap, because what you're saying is these adults are not adults, they're children, and you're saying it's justifiable calling them the C word. In the meantime, you're someone who defends against that. I mean, get out of here.
Right. For like the one, and I'm not saying names any, but to sit there and call me and another female the C word, and then say, well, if anyone ever called my wife that, as he's a man and his wife's not on social media, but then call out my husband and say, where's your husband at? Well, that'll be the last time. Yesterday on my video, when my husband come out, and he thinks people are basically,
And he shouldn't have to.
us.
Clearly, he's the type of husband who's supportive of what you do, spreading the news and not giving you a hard time, because he's not arguing with you. You're not having any issues. You're extremely calm on your streams. So there's like, he's making problems where there are none. Is that some sort of projection? It's just very weird to me. And people who don't see this while they're watching and agreeing, to me, that's like signing up at the, intentionally for the small minded and doing it with it.
Right. That will be the last time my husband comes out on a stream to tell anybody that they're not really a man if they can call a woman the C word from behind their computer screens like that.
And it's only a sign that they're triggered enough by a woman when, in my personal humble opinion, what makes a man would never need to do things like that because he's a man, because he knows his role as the protector and the defender. And if he has to deal with women who are so out of line, a man doesn't do that. A man walks away or tries to protect and help them. And maybe if he can't get them, help from their friends or whatever, and just walk away, not use a bunch of like cussing swear words and derogatory terms to like at females. To me, that just shows such a
I think it unveiled
small-minded.
himself. It did.
Yes, I mean,
And
that's why you don't have to
nobody,
even.
that's
Your
why we're
husband
not
is
bringing
very
up
sweet,
names.
Becky, for
Thank you.
actually taking the time to come out and address an idiot.
He couldn't believe it when he saw that man just and the pointing at me and then saying,
Did your
it's
husband
like,
say, I have to prove I'm a good man because you consistently prove every day you're not? Like, don't
no.
waste my fucking time.
He was like, there's no reason to have to defend someone over a computer. They just showed exactly who they are in that video, and he did it because I asked him to. And otherwise, but I won't ask him again because I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I seriously don't. But there's Mr. Nobody in there that if someone would like to address, maybe.
Oh,
Jackal?
you know what? I'm going to put a link in the chat. I made a video on the art of being a gentleman for all of our male saviors out there who are confused between their philosophy and their behavior. I'll drop it in the chat later, but some of people we are with, like Scooby, we don't have to tell these things to.
Yes, exactly. We each got our own problems, don't we? And
Yeah.
and I think the main goal is figuring out that looking above and looking down at it and seeing it as a game, taking it for what it is, and not letting it sidetrack us from our narratives, because I know I have a lot.
My viewpoint on them now, I'm not interested even in the channels. I'm just going to start. I'm maybe just going to start looking at the puppeteers. Because it's got they've created such an atmosphere that even if something is done, if something is real, something happens that is real on YouTube, you get to a point where you can't trust it because these people are involved. So you can't trust, if they tell you, oh, I don't bother that person anymore, you can't take their word for it, because then you go away and you look at something on Twitter and you see the complete opposite and you're like, wow. You find the information out. Go ahead.
What do you, this is my perspective. When someone comes to me and tells me someone is no good, I keep that in the back of my mind, but I never prejudge them for that. I find out myself. I don't just listen to somebody else. Is that how you do?
Yeah. I mean, I'll make my own mind. I mean, look, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So I have, and until they've proven otherwise to me, I'm like, even now, I mean, I would still say that, genuinely, if you want to get together and talk about this, no problem. If you want, should it be privately or publicly, I don't care. But if you want to get together and talk about this and sort something out, so that's it done with, I would do that. But what I find is the people that are pulling the strings don't want that to happen. They want to keep division there and doubt in your mind, so that even if you do kind of, right, forget about all this, we're cool now, we've sorted this out, blah, blah, blah. And even if you do that, if something else comes up, something small, you're going to end up, being as ever distrustful that you were beforehand, if that makes sense. You're gonna, it's all just gonna come back up to the surface again. And that's why I find like a lot of these people who, because there is wee groups of people who, they fall out with each other, then they make up, and then they fall out, and then they make up, and it seems to be that type of thing. And I believe that there's somebody else there that's yanking on the chain.
I agree too. There's definitely someone else there.
Well, not only that, some people use the drama for views. They don't want to make peace. There's no point. Whatever
and that's the entertainment part that I was talking. They keep, some of them don't care about the narrative. They're just having fun, messing with people, and having drama.
That's the biggest thing.
Whether they're drama lovers or they're paid, it doesn't matter. They're distracting from the point. There's two reasons they're doing it only.
Well, I would say there's a level of people who enjoy it, who actually enjoy it, who get a kick out of it, who get an endorphin rush out of it, who get a thrill.
Wasn't somebody getting physically excited, Becky? Scooby, to confirm what you're saying, Becky, wasn't there someone who would get excited about waiting for the drama? And
absolutely, Renee. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they feed off of it. And whether it's because they're energy vampires, because they're paid, because they're just messed up, who knows?
Some are truly dark, that they emit. They like the taste of tears. They like to make people cry. You also have to remember there's the real true psychopaths or sociopaths out there that truly enjoy seeing them cause pain to others. And it has nothing to do with clicks, views, a narrative, or anything. They truly just enjoy. I mean, they straight up say, I like to taste your tears. I made her cry, and I'm going to live off that for days,
And you have to remember, as a person, when that's aimed at you, that comes from a serious amount of trauma. It has nothing to do with you. This person is basically projecting their trauma out on other people. And so when you agree to interact with that, you almost make a contract with them that you're going to take their bullshit from they need to deal with it somewhere else, right?
Right. And that, I'm so glad, like, if I would have just watched what was said about Jackal, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to him. I am so lucky and thankful that I didn't pass judgment on what others were saying and got to know him myself.
Well, I did that once. I took China's word for it. I took a narrative that was being pushed, and I took it as being, well, that must be what happening, because going off other situations that have been talked about, which, were actual things going on in the world and truth and all the rest of it, that was real. So, I kind of, would troll Winter Moon a bit and Donna Emerald a bit. Not over the top, not nasty. I wouldn't have been, crazy abusive or anything like that there, but I still trolled them a bit. And then I started waking up. I started asking questions. When I started to see my own perspective change, I started asking questions. And, thankfully enough, they weren't assholes with me. They could have turned around and told me to go F myself. And they'd have been well within their right to, but they didn't, because they've been around, they've seen shit happening, that they know exactly what goes on, how people get sucked into it, But I worked it out for myself. I started looking at things. I started asking the questions. I didn't get the answers that I would have expected to get if it were true. And, you know, that's what you end up have to do. You know, don't take somebody's word for it as being
Yeah.
100% gospel. Don't take my word for it as being 100% gospel. But do remember that people are saying, be careful, or whatever way you want to put it. Right?
And the
Same way
difference
with,
is trusting the source of your information, especially when you know people on here want to sow discourse, right? And then
Mm.
if you have established relationships with people you trust, you can pretty much still make your own decision to make sure it's not a personal beef, but that you trust their judgment, right? I mean,
right. I also don't hate anyone, same as Jackal.
Yeah.
So if I've earned anyone's hate on YouTube, that's their own, because everyone is in control of their own selves.
listen, I gotta say, and I wasn't gonna say anything, Becky, but you know how we've had to feel each other out over this time, you, me, Scooby, right? And because you have known other people and we've known other people, and we've just kind of come together over a bit of time and listened. You right? You've been on OJMs. You've done
Yeah.
your due diligence. I'm sorry for you. Yeah. You're a brave woman, man. You are a brave woman.
Yep, I hop right up in there. I'm not afraid to speak.
I'm impressed. I'm not even willing to do that anymore. But I had my time with that, and the thing is I was listening. Sorry, Kim and Clovis, man. I've been on the fence for a bit, but lit shit stirs. I mean, not trustworthy. That's all I'm getting, and that's too bad because there were times when they seemed like they were all friends and it was all good, but clearly, like going live right after you.
Yeah. But then their videos were on private. So today I wake up and get a page-long comment judging me, you know, and one of
yeah,
their subs, and I'm just like, it's all ridiculous. Like the
and that you
chatters
don't
even
want
have to
anything to
draw
do
a
with
line.
people that like that you didn't want to be involved with. Hello, I'm the same way, and no one gives me shit. If they're your friends, they would support the fact that you don't want to be around there and you might not want to be in their chat, and instead of going live, she should have been like, well, but I can tell, man, oh girl, she she likes it. She
She loves it.
overreacts, and I mean, I'm sorry, but she's got to chill out if she means what she says about, but especially with her and Clovis, I mean, oh, I don't know. They put
Trigger
out
happy. I just
yeah,
got tired after 4 years of getting stabbed in the back, and me,
by your friends. With friends
yeah,
like this, who needs enemies, right? Right?
exactly.
Fuck
That
'em.
I had to move on because I felt like I was in the same circle jerk. And, how dare me speak up about it, because then all of their chatters are going to come over and have their way with you too. And they can go live and put their streams on private, and, oh, it never happened. So come prosecute me if you want to, is all I got to say. Come file a restraining order for my freedom of speech. Come on. Kim, if you're going to file some kind of restraining order on me, I think you have to be in fear for your life. And I've never threatened anyone in my life, and I never would, because I kind of feel like even with politics, everyone's fighting against everyone, and we all should be looking at these big puppeteers in the gray state and in our world with the UN, instead of hating on each other. It's ridiculous.
Well, and we can't talk about, I mean, every day. I think to a degree too, it's accepting, we can accept the fact that we need a break from the constant government protests and CV talk, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
but
why,
do
but this stuff
canning, do
can't
planning.
distract. Yeah, it can't distract. And the thing is, and why aren't they having panels and doing their stuff? If they want to make peace, then make peace with everybody and go do some panels about other stuff.
Right, don't go live on a dime and scream at the top of your lungs, be, and I stand by myself too. I have never asked another. I don't know about you, Jackal. I've never asked another to go do this for me or go do that or go leave a comment over there or anything to recruit people or try to get them to manipulate to help me. I've actually told people, don't defend me, because even my own friends have gotten attacked for, so I don't know how you handle that, Jackal, but
Well, I don't expect anybody to freaking turn around and go and fight battles for me or try and earn my favor because they have, went and said something or anything like that there. But I do second come on out. You can't spot the difference between people who are, kind of sticking up for you, but maybe have their own issues with the person as well. And, people who care. I only talked to a few people privately on this platform now. I used to talk to a lot of people, but I found that most of those people, if not, I'm not naming names, but I mean a lot of those people that I spoke to privately, then use it against you in some shape or fashion, or build a narrative against it, and that's not my style at all. I did. There was one particular person I did ask them about something for to see if they could help me with something, and that was it. And that never transpired into anything. And when I saw that person starting to be vicious with what they were doing, I didn't get involved with them at all and backed away from them full stop. Like, but for the most part, I mean, Renee, Kickstand, I don't. They're the two people that I'm most friendly with on here. I certainly don't expect any of them to go around and start harassing the channels that give me shit. I wouldn't ask them of it. I wouldn't expect it from them. And when I did ask what that one person, it wasn't anything to do with channels. It was more of trying to work out what the fuck was going on, who was running this nonsense that was going on here. I do feel YouTube is split up into factions. It may have started that all these people were grouped together at one point, and have all ended up splintering away now, is what you would expect to happen over the years with friendships that become friendships over the internet. Or the result of profit, brought together to make money. It doesn't seem to last. So that was kind of where the only thing that I can recall that I've done like that there, and it didn't go anywhere.
yeah, see, I'm openly admitted. I'm guilty of being triggered and going live. I've did it. I don't think any of us are guilt free on any of this kind of stuff.
Nope.
I think the difference is if it's something that you're trying to avoid, you're trying to self-monitor, self-control, you're trying to do your best. And if you fall off the wagon, if you realize it, you come out and state it, just like you are here, Jackal. That takes a man. I haven't heard, though, from any one of the names that has been spoken about, though, I haven't heard any of it from them owning up or, I tend to retract quite often if I did something wrong. I apologize if I think I stepped out of place. If I haven't, tell me I haven't. And if I feel like I need to, I will. And if I feel like I don't, I'm going to give you my explanation as to why.
Well, I think what maybe what I'm guilty of is defending myself, defending myself to a narrative that I was never going to win. It's not even about winning because it doesn't matter whether or not you're in the you're in the right. I know I'm in the right, but
I don't think, Scooby, it
that's
was
not
about
what matters.
defending yourself, buddy. I think it was more about you were standing up for what was right. And then
Exactly.
you got attacked and ended up having to defend yourself. You weren't going to be manipulated is what happened, I feel like.
I have to also correct you a little bit there, Scoob. That's exactly what I have seen from you. Well said, Renee. And I'm new to, so guys, I don't know the past history. I saw him try to get out of a situation. I saw him try to stay quiet. And then I saw him just stand up and say, "Hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not taking this."
Yeah, well, I mean, the last year or last 18 months, it's went through processes. It's went from me sticking up for myself to me, thinking it's put to rest, and now it's back to me, being attacked again and having to defend myself. Only this time, I'm not even bothering. Like, it's like, why bother? Because these people don't matter. At the end of the day, they're not there. They don't want to be your friends. That sounds childish, like, but they're not here to try and improve the quality of experience all of us can have on YouTube. They're not here for that. They're here for their own personal reasons, and they're using whatever tools are around to improve their experience on YouTube. And that's just the way it is. I have no interest in that. I have no interest in being involved in fucking the gang warfare on fucking YouTube. It sounds ridiculous. I'm 40 plus years old. I stopped that type of shit when I was in my 20s. I mean, you know, maybe for a lot of people, I had a very different upbringing than most people would experience in their life because of where I'm from and what I experienced growing up. So you matured very early over here. I mean, as a teenager, you're doing things that a man would do, or a man would have expected to be done. And then by the time you hit your 20s, you're almost retired. It's ridiculous. It sounds crazy, but
That's
that's
the
kind
way
of the way it would be.
Well, I grew up on a farm in Illinois, and my first job was delivering newspapers. But before that, I mean, by the time I was 7 or 8, I was driving a tractor, counting bales of hay as they went in. We had a town of 350 people with no stoplights, nothing, no other race. So I didn't learn about racism or being a racist. Had to go to the next town to go to school. And then when I was moving to Ohio, was the first Black person moved into the 3 towns around me. The first Black family did. And they were a pasture, and it was awesome that they were moving in. And I moved to Ohio, and I freaked out because I saw stealing the very first day I came here. But I mean, I learned chores. I learned that we had to garden, we had to can, we had to grow our own beef, our own food. We showed in 4-H. We had our horses that we raced, and people don't understand that I'm old fashioned. I still to this day don't even own a Wi-Fi phone. And that's the life I like. Yet people will come out and prejudge you. And I tend to stand up for myself just like you do, Scoob. But I'm finding out they can hear the words and they don't even care and they don't even listen. So now I'm trying not to even respond for myself. And that's a hard thing for me to do, is not stand up for myself and correct the false narrative. It truly is. But if I keep doing it, I see that they just keep eating off me.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've said this before. I never saw my first coloured person that was 18. Couldn't believe it when I saw them in real life. In fact, even now, whenever you're driving down the road here, if you see a black person, you notice them. And that's not because you're racist or anything, it's because it's not a normal everyday occurrence. It's not something you see every day. So I never grew up around different types of races or anything like that there. I mean, even our, the schools and all I went to, there would have been the odd Chinese child or something like that there, or from that part of the world. And
But
that,
you
and
didn't
that,
even learn racism, so you don't have
no,
racism.
no,
See, that's how I am.
no. But because we had the troubles over here, you had two communities that both looked the same. So it was hard to distinguish who was who outside of your community. So it created an environment where you didn't trust people without, outside of your community. You just didn't trust them. You wouldn't hang around people you didn't know. You wouldn't try and you wouldn't really try and develop the normal skills that maybe would be about within societies where there wasn't more or less like a civil war ongoing. But what I think helped me was the shipyard that I worked in went to the wall, so I ended up having to travel and travel to other countries to get work. And they could be there from anything from 3 months to 2 years. Sometimes I think one place was 3 years I was at in Holland, and
Oh, wow.
you then I'm lucky enough. I'm quite an adaptable person anyway. I can adapt to people, but you end up, your world isn't so small anymore more, and you do become accustomed to different races and religions and things like that there, and you do have to make allowances and really, because you're not in Kansas anymore, as they say. And it opened my viewpoint and my perspective to other people, full stop. And I'd have been more tolerant and been more willing then to be more trustful of others that I wasn't around, I didn't know of, because whenever you were working away, especially in my sort of work, you had to rely on people you didn't know.
See, I grew up then the exact opposite because one time my dad's car broke down, he just stuck out his thumb and we were able to trust. If a farmer couldn't bring down their crop, we would help them with our tractors or equipment and vice versa. And everyone waved at everyone. And if you saw someone with a flat tire, you pulled over to help them. And then times changed quite a bit. And so, but when we moved out here in the house we're at now, my husband's first question was, why does everybody wave to me? And I said, that's how farmers are. You go down the road and you see nothing but hands sticking out the windows waving to you. They're just courteous and kind. But in today's world, they've had to, nobody cares about their tractors on the road. They're too busy. Get out of the way. Now they can't pick up hitchhikers because, they might have a knife and do something to you. And times have changed quite a bit. But
I just
I
like
tell
the
you, the
point.
true evil I saw was when I came to the internet, not in life. It was on the internet.
I'm just going to address a wee comment here saying these boomers destroyed the economy and now they're destroying internet culture. And his next comment is, so are these boomers telling us not to be racist? To start off with, if you're referring to us, I'm not a boomer. Generation X. And
my dad's the boomer, not me, if you're referring to me.
Of course, boomers would be telling you not to be racist. Nobody should be racist. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you shouldn't be racist. We're humans. That's the race we are.
Yeah, well, we'll all be judged in the end. But you know, somebody said there about us being sound like prosecutors. Nobody's prosecuting anybody. I just see the stream being people getting together and talking about what they see and what they experience. That's what's in the description anyway, And I think it's healthy because there is other people out there that are experiencing the exact same thing and think it is just them that is experiencing it, and it's not just them. There's a whole fucking, almost every pocket of YouTube is going through the same thing, and
I thought we were up here discussing and trying to figure things out for better, is what I thought
Yeah.
I was up here doing. And I saw that comment too, and I addressed him prosecuting who, but then I saw
Yeah.
no answer.
Yeah. I mean, look, personally, I have no interest in having a beef, as they call it, with anybody. Couldn't be annoyed for it. Haven't got the time. Certainly not going to waste my energy. And if people want to put up videos calling me this, calling me that, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. At the end of the day, it gives me more advertising on YouTube. Because people will come along. Who is this guy? They will.
Well, you rent
They will
space in their
click on the
head.
like. Yeah, you
You're
will
renting
click.
space in their head is
Yeah.
what you're doing. Your haters, you're renting free space in their head. They're allowing you that, and they shouldn't. Like, that's why I want to stop even just standing up for myself, because it doesn't matter if people know me, and if they want to find out the true me, they can. I'm not going to go around addressing all these hate videos anymore. It's just not worth my time.
Yeah, and it's at the end of the day, you know yourself. It's all about making you look bad and then tying up your energies into defending yourself. I'm personally, I'm not going to do it to the extent that I might defend myself at some point. Who knows? But I'm certainly not going to play their game the way they want me to play it. I'll play their game if I choose to, how I play the game, not how they play it. I see. My attitude's this: anybody's got a problem with me, come and talk to me. Come and talk. It doesn't have to be in a live stream. You can talk to me privately. If you've got an issue, if you don't like something they said, don't like something, agree with something they said, come and talk to me. If you've got a problem with me that's been going back, say, 18 months, and you don't like how it is, and you want me to change something or do something, come and talk to me. No problem. But if you want to keep on slandering me and putting up fucking shitty videos and creating narratives and whatnot, you're more than welcome to carry on doing that. It doesn't really bother me. Apparently now, believe it or not, folks, my videos are programming people, and I have
I
like
believe you.
MK Ultra abilities apparently now, where my videos are programming people against others.
Ridiculously. Yeah, they'll say anything. And I feel the same way. If you want to come to me, but instead people like hitting that live button or doing the video, but I'm up to talk. I like debates. And if you disagree with me, I have many people, I've had many people on my panel that totally think the opposite, politically and, about many other things. And we get along because we can just simply, we just keep an open mind and converse with each other instead of yelling at each other and telling each other what the other has to think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure, Scar, me and you could talk about a subject that we don't agree on and not get fucking crazy bent. and then because we don't agree on it, start attacking each other. You know,
Oh, I know we could. I know we could.
that's the way. See, me and Renee will tell you. Me and Renee have had conversations where you know I'm not agreeing with her. You know, and I'll say to her, and I'll put my wee point of view across. It doesn't dramatically change her point of view, but she'll go away and she'll remember what I said, and it's likewise as well for me with her. You know, I've said things that she hasn't agreed with me, and she's pointed out A, B, and C to me, and I'm like, fair enough. And you actually do need that in life. You need to have people around you who can have a different opinion than yours, who can point out the wood for the trees, and that you're not going to get pissed off and annoyed with. But I feel that part of the culture that has been introduced to us since social media became so strong is that if somebody has a different opinion of you, they are the enemy. And
Right.
you treat them like the enemy and you fight against it. You know, that's because, as we all know, and it's been said many times before, this age, the digital age, is the age of, it's psychological warfare. You know, we're not going to have ground battles of like World War II or World War One.
No, we're
Any,
going
and
into quantum computers. That's
yeah,
what 5G's. It's quantum computers.
yeah.
It's going to be the military controlling all of the internet.
So
That's a well-known fact.
I mean, things are going to change very much, I believe, over the next. I mean, well, the 2030, if I'm still around to see it, I believe things are really going to change for everybody. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, or who you hate, or who doesn't like you, or who you love. Things are going to change for everybody. It's already changing.
Jekyll, that's why I think that we should, not to interrupt you, but that's why I know race isn't politically correct, but I'm not a politically correct person. But that's why I want us to look at humanity as the people around the world, and instead of right or left, or instead of kings and queens, let the elite do what they do. But why are just us regular human beings
there's
eating
one
away
thing.
at each other?
There's one thing that we all have in common. It doesn't matter whether you're white, you're black, you're yellow, you're brown. Doesn't matter whether you're from Japan, America, or Timbuktu. The one thing that every single one of us has in common with each other is we all want our freedom of choice. And that, believe it or not, is slowly being taken away from us without us, with many people not even catching on. There seems to be so many. Seems to be so many freaking psyops these days. I mean, this COVID thing seems to be the biggest intelligence operation that I've ever seen. I'm not saying there's no sickness. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that COVID is a hoax or anything like that. There, not at all.
I know you always got to put out that disclaimer.
Yes.
Sadly,
Sadly, you do. But what I am saying is the changes that I've seen happen in the last 3 months. You're queuing up to go to the stores, you're social distancing. If somebody coughs, you're fucking turning around looking at them. Even though I know myself, well, okay, somebody's cough, I'm not going to catch it up because somebody coughed. But, all these practices are being ingrained on us and taught us for a reason, and it's not just so it can be taken away. At the minute over here, they're talking about restart, basically how we come out of quarantine and how it's going to be managed. And from what I can see, to what it's building up to is basically nothing's changing until you're vaccinated.
yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting, and that's
that's the most crazy thing, because that goes back to one of the things that I was talking about a few weeks ago, whenever I come back, might have been on one of Renee's streams or something, about the whole COVID, that there was new laws introduced over here for 2 years, or temporary laws, but they're laws nonetheless. And that is basically, if I was to turn around and say, no, I'm not having this uh, vaccine, they can cart me off, and they can quarantine me indefinitely. I mean, your
I
family, you're
even
just
look
basically,
differently. I don't
you're,
think I'm even going to go to a quarantine. Mm, if it gets to that point, I'm just not. I'm just not going to give in. Of course, I have faith. I don't judge anybody else or need to know, but I believe. So I'll die before, I denounce God for me, and I'm not going to be forced anywhere. I've got a lot of life to live, but I'm not going to sacrifice any of it to let them take it from me. I
I
won't.
see somebody in the chat mention Jews will help us achieve our dreams. And I don't know if anybody's paying attention to, Judaism, the religion, the faith, and where they are in their faith and their journey. Forget about who owns fucking Fox News, or who owns this and that and all the rest of it. Is anybody actually paid attention to any of the online rabbis? There's plenty of them on YouTube. And because I've been listening to one recently, and for what's going on around us, they believe that their Messiah is already here. He just hasn't announced himself yet. They're waiting for it to be announced. Now, this is my understanding from what I've been watching. They believe their Messiah is already here, and that he just hasn't announced himself yet. Or maybe he doesn't even know who he is yet, right? And that the COVID-19 is basically, it's a worldwide plague, and it's prophesied in the Torah. And there's 10 prophecies, I believe, that were to be fulfilled before the Messiah comes or is announced to the world. And I think 7 or 8 of them have been fulfilled so far. And the last two, one of the prophecies is about the death of the firstborn. If any of you know the story of Christ, whenever he was born, King Herod went, and to try and prevent this, he went and killed all the firstborn children from every family. Obviously, the Jews don't believe Christ is the Messiah, so they're still expecting this to happen. They're expecting the firstborn to die of every family in this next event. And one of the other things to happen is darkness for 14 days. I don't know if that's worldwide or just a part of the world in complete darkness for 14 days. But if you see, the locusts is another thing that they're talking about as one of their prophecies coming true as well. There's quite a few of them, and that's where they are at with this. They believe that this is the coming, leading up to the coming of their Messiah. So, when you look around at all the other parts of the Triff community over the years that's been talking about, the Jews rule the world, they own this, they own that. All these things are happening, and you piece it together, it kind of looks like, they're making it happen. They believe that this is it. Now, Here's the whole point about this thing happening with Judaism and what they believe. If this doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen. It can never happen. So basically, if the Messiah doesn't come back in the next, I don't know whether it's 10 years, they reckon, or how many years it is, well, or after these 10 prophecies are fulfilled, he doesn't come back in. He's never coming back, right? It's never going to happen. And it means Judaism is wrong. And they control the world, you know, to an extent, the Rothschilds and the 13
Yep.
families.
Yep.
So, you know, if ever there was somebody able to make something happen, it's going to be happening now over the next so many years where this is, you know, they fully believe that their Messiah is coming and they will rule the world and nobody will come up against them. And if they do, you
Some are
know,
begging for it to come.
they are, they're praying. I mean, look, it's their faith, so I'm not going to question it. That's their faith. That's what they believe. So be it, you know, for whatever. And I don't blame them for begging for it to come either, because it's their faith. It's what they've been raised in. It's the final, you know, it's the ultimate, you know, their Messiah to come. So they're expecting that to happen
That's
anytime
been
soon.
going on for decades. We've seen different what's labeled as cults, people waiting for the end of the time, the apocalypse, or in different religions, and that's why I just stepped away from
But
religion.
now, at this point now, there's a time frame. If it doesn't happen within this time frame, it's never going to happen. That's the feeling. There's a freaking I'll try and find him here. There's a rabbi that I watched on YouTube. I found his channel. He's I'm not sure if it was recommended or what. How the hell I found his channel, but I found his channel anyway, and it's eye opening. Like, I don't know, I can.
While you look for that, I'd just like to
Yeah.
answer someone in the chat about. Oh, hold on. Never mind. Hold. I got someone on the phone for me. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll write the name of the channel down in the chat there, because it's not. This isn't about who rules the world. This is about their faith, and this is a rabbi talking about their faith
Can
and
you
what
play some
he
of it,
believes.
Scooby?
But what he believes is happening, and I would tell anybody, go to this guy's channel and watch his latest videos, man, because I'm telling you now, when you realize what these people are expecting to happen, and it's actually happening now, it's quite worrisome. I don't know, I just finished writing this. It's Rabbi. That's it there. That's the name of the guy's channel there, Rabbi Alon Anava, I think. I maybe haven't pronounced that right, I don't know. But that's where they are. And when you think about, like, I mean, this is Islam has come out of this faith. You know, Christianity has come out of this faith. It's one of the biggest faiths, you know, the main. And I don't know, when you watch his videos, it is fucking scary. If anybody's there, I'll go to his channel and tell you which one to watch. There's one called The Final War: What has been, is, and what will be. It's 3 hours long, and I tell you now, it's worth watching the 3 hours of it. It really is. It's worth watching the 3 hours of it. I've watched this video about friggin' 5 to 6 times now. So I have, um, and it's because that this is where they're at. This is what they see happening, and this is what they believe is happening, and this is what I think's happening too because they believe it. And when they look at who rules the world, who owns what, and you see the changes that are being implemented, the social distancing, small business owners are being absolutely ruined. You know, it's quite obvious things are not going to go back to normal the way they were for quite some time, if they ever do. Um, I definitely see this as being a place in history where things, you know, it's like a change forever. This is going to be a big moment in history, and we're all living in it. We can all communicate in it. We've got the internet. We've got things like YouTube. You know, we've got mobile phones. We can reach out and call anybody anywhere in the world. We can do things that people, you know, couldn't even imagine 100 years ago or 200 years ago. And I don't think it can be stopped. I think it's basically pick a side and hold on. And it sounds a bit crap to say pick a side, but I mean, choose what you're going to believe and live by it. Basically, that's what I mean by choose a side. You know, choose what you're going to believe and how you're going to live by it and do it because things are going to change here pretty soon. Now, what happens if the Messiah comes? I don't know, man. If their Jewish Messiah comes, you know, you know, what you would call Christianity would call that the Antichrist. I believe. I don't know. I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting of what's going around, and people aren't real. People, a lot of people are sleeping on it because they're focused on things like, you know, oh, we've lost our freedom, we lost this, lost that. You know, when it comes down to the final crease of things, if your government says this is how it is, that's the way it's going to be. You know, if they decide no guns, they'll come for your guns. If they decide that you can't do this or you can't do that, you'll not be able to do this and that, and that's what the army's on the ground for. Well, the Talmud, I haven't read the Talmud. I've heard bits and bobs of the Talmud, so I have. And, you know, it's quite worrisome what you're reading that as well. On some of their viewpoints and how they see us and things like that there. But, you know, you were saying earlier on about the whether Habit, I don't even know what the headscarf is called that Muslim ladies wear. I can't remember. I don't know how it's pronounced. In the Republic of Ireland, there would be a quite a large Muslim community. In Northern Ireland, it would not be as big. Over the years, they've taken a bit of abuse up north, unfortunately. We're probably one of the last countries around. It still maintains at least 90% of its population, of its natural heritage, Irish. But it going back to what I was saying, yeah, things seem to be changing quick. Every week, whenever we have like updates every day, and this whole COVID from our government and whatnot. I stopped watching it quite a while ago because you get fed up listening about COVID this, COVID that, with no PPE, and it's like, how the hell have you no PPE? Don't talk nonsense. Like, I mean, come on. The British government did a planned pandemic rehearsals in 2016. On what it would, how you would cope and get through a pandemic. But apparently they never took any notice of the results. It's like, what? Seriously? You didn't pay attention to the results of what's going on and implement them? So they're getting quite a bit of slack about that there, a bit of beef from the media. But I think it's all smoke and mirrors, because the place where I'm paying attention to is what's going on in Israel. It would take quite a long time for that to happen. There is actually quite a large gay community in Ireland, full stop. Who knew? Yeah, but it is what it is. I have no problem with it. People want to do with their lives. People can do with their lives what they choose. It's their life. They should be allowed to, just as much as I should be allowed to do with my life, with what I choose. Freedom of choice. That's something that everybody wants. Even the so-called free are victims in all this. We should all have freedom of choice, but unfortunately, we don't all have it. In fact, many countries don't. And the countries that are left that do have it in somewhat are going to lose it. That's what I believe. Richard Murdoch, it's not unfortunate, it's just the way it is. You can't turn around and condemn somebody because of their sexual preference. It doesn't take them out of the running of what they're entitled to and what they're not. But I think the thing is that these people then become, or their movement becomes, a tool that is used. Political correctness and all the rest of it. You can't say that. This, you can't say that. I mean, we're in 2020 now, and I grew up the 80s, 90s, and many of the things that used to be in television back then, the comedy shows or sitcoms, you couldn't put it on the TV nowadays. Couldn't put it on anymore because it's so on PC. It's not politically correct. Crazy that such a change can happen in such a small period of time. And 30 years, like, it is a small period of time, really. But this was something that was ushered in the mid-80s with when I was a kid and went to school. Our teachers were allowed to smack us. They were allowed to get the cane. And if you got the cane, it was because you deserved it. It wasn't because the teacher was being an asshole and wanted to pick on you. You deserved it. Back then, parents used to smack their children, and 99% of the parents did it not because they wanted to do it or enjoyed doing it, but because children need discipline. And that's the sort of thing that unfortunately, whenever you're a child, the children understand. But at the same time, there's that 1% of people out there who abuse it, just like everything else in life. So it's come to be that the laws in I think Scotland, but even maybe even Northern Ireland now, where it's illegal to smack your child. Now, when I say smack, nobody's expecting any parent to turn around and smack their child to like mortally wound them or anything like that, or but you can go to jail now. 30 years ago, you couldn't. 30 years ago, it's how everything was. Um,
Well,
so
and two, the whole neighborhood was watching you. Everybody was watching you. The thing you had feared the most was your parents finding out you misbehaved, and you weren't getting away with it because everybody was watching, and that's why it takes a village to raise a child. And now it's more of, um, you know, to each their own. I don't want to get involved. And
yeah,
there's kids, I get neighborhood complaints on a website that kids in a town over from me are, I don't know, stealing crap out of somebody's, property, and where are their parents, and well, where are their fucking, and where is everybody else? They should know who these kids are. Remember, they would go to your parents' house, the neighbor's house. They didn't care who you were. It's like, look who I found dragging you by the ear, doing this and that, you know. But kids also had a little bit more freedom. I think they got their adventure out by exploring, having the ability to do that, and now they're stuck in front of fucking social media and things that don't matter. Things, yeah, it's changing, and not for the better. That's for sure, Scooby.
well, kids. I mean, like going back again to when I was a kid. There was lots of the area where I grew up was like a new build back in the day, and so there was lots of young married couples had moved in. So there was like a baby boom, I suppose. Well, my mum's a boomer, so there you go with the boomers. So there was lots of kids around my area, and I mean lots within the same age range, maybe 2 years above, 2 years below, or something like that. And we were always out in the street. We were always running off, playing in at each other's houses. Um, Although that wasn't encouraged too much. But I mean, ultimately, when the good weather was there, everybody was outside. I mean, your parents had to come looking for you. My mum or somebody else's mum or their dad or whatever would go to the door and you would just hear their name being shouted through the neighborhood. So that's whenever you knew, okay, it's time to go home. And you maybe your parents maybe saw you at breakfast and dinner, and that was it. The rest of the time you were gone. Um, and back then there was no microwaves. So if you didn't get your dinner at dinner time, if you didn't go home for your dinner, man, you had to eat it cold. Or or it was put under the grill or something like that there and dried out. Horrible. So we grew up like that there. We'd go away, we'd have adventures, we'd go up the fields, we'd play around, we'd grow up within ourselves, within this group. And now it's completely different. Now kids are growing up watching, their way of growing up is watching like adults on YouTube behaving like kids. But makes sense. So and kids, are always oh, you need to treat your child like an adult, and kids are freaking 7 or 8, 9 are acting as if they're 18, and you're almost expected to treat them that way. Well, I was never treated that way. I was treated, a child was treated like a child, and an adult was treated like an adult, and there was a huge difference. There was no grey area. There was no middle ground. That's just how it was, and I just think society has went downhill. I can't imagine growing up nowadays and being happy. I really with my childhood. I can't. I had a messy childhood growing up, but I also had my friends, and I also got to go out and do things and all the rest of it that made it fantastic. So as much as things were kind of crappy home life, the rest of it was fantastic, and I just couldn't imagine being able to. Yeah, oh man, I just can't imagine growing up today and enjoying it, especially after knowing what you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it was winter, I had to be home by dusk and I would ice skate. I would go out after breakfast, late morning, like 10. I might come home at like, I don't know, 2 for lunch. And then I'd go back out until about 5 when it got started to get dark. And I'd be ice skating all day long. We would play in the neighborhood. Um, yeah, and like you said, go to your friends' houses and you were expected to be respectful. You didn't like raid their fridge or whatever. You were polite. You called the parents Mr. and Mrs. Where's the bathroom, please? You know, that shit is rare nowadays. Very rare.
Yeah, because our parents talked, parents all communicated with each other. I mean, all my friends, my mum, she knew who the parents were. Their parents knew who my mum was. Everybody knew each other. They all interacted with each other. I can remember when it was one of I'm not sure, well, it was something, the Jubilee or something, the Queen or whatever, used to have street parties. We used to have street parties, all of that. It used to be a real strong community. And, it's not like that anymore. It feels like things are manufactured now. You have
There's
to
a
be told.
comedian who did a great skit about when back in the day when people would come over, like your mom would have pound cake and you weren't supposed to touch certain things because that was for when guests stopped over and they wanted to have something to eat or whatever. And then now, you run inside the house, turn off the lights and be like, who is that? They didn't text me. Who's at the door? Who could it possibly be? I mean, that's how, and that was before coronavirus. So how things have changed.
Yeah, it's as you say, going in the fridge. Even as a kid, I wouldn't have went to the fridge. I wouldn't open the door of the fridge. I wasn't allowed to. If I wanted something, I had to go and ask, and if I was told no, I was told no. There was no crying about it and stomping your feet, and because it just wouldn't.
And then going around telling the entire neighborhood how shitty your parents are because they didn't feed you and give you whatever you wanted, right?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed a bag of crisps. It just didn't work like that. Or if my parents had friends come around, things like that. There, we were to be seen and not heard. I mean, that was literal. We went in the other room, did our own thing, or went upstairs, played with your toys, whatever. You wouldn't have went into your parents every 5 minutes and can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? Because you'd have got a smack in the arse for it. You know.
Not only that, I mean, even if the entire group of adults was like pointing their finger like out with you, we're talking, the adults are spending time together. What were you going to do? Nothing, because they stood together and said, this is how we expect you to behave.
Yep. I just want to address something in the chat there. Anthena, this guy could put Charlie Sheen to sleep. Well, listen, I'm glad if you have any insomniac issues, then just click on my live streams and you'll get to sleep. You work away. That's a new one anyway. I haven't seen Anthena before. Don't know if it's a sock or not, but why do people always come up? Why do people like coming about in sock accounts? What is that all about? Like,
they got no cojones.
I don't understand why they just don't show up in their normal accounts that they do, because there's no problem talking crap about you in their normal accounts. So then they come along in socks, so they don't understand. Maybe it's because they know they'll get blocked. But then I don't have a sock account. myself.
Well, they'd have to own their behavior, and everyone would know how juvenile they act. And what are they going to do about that?
Mm. Very true. Did I hear you're a cat parent, really?
Yeah, it's Simba.
I don't know
He's a
where my
happy
cats
guy.
are. They've disappeared.
Think about it. Why else? If you're so clever, smart, and funny, and right, and all your accusations are true, why come up in a sock account? Prove it with your own, your own channel, your own avatar. It's because that's how spineless it is.
Well, I think everybody's at the point now where it's obvious that when someone comes in a sock account that they're up to no good, you know. It's obvious at that point now. But I mean, back to what we were talking about there. Things have been changing, and you wonder. Well, you know, sometimes it's actually quite scary to wonder, but you wonder what our grandkids are going to grow up in, what it's going to be like, you know, in the future for them. You know, if things are getting so constrained now, is there going to be a generation growing up with all these rules and regulations and social barriers put in place? And, you know, is this going to be the way it is now? For them, growing up, like, they're never going to, you know, they're never going to enjoy the freedoms that we would have enjoyed growing up.
Well,
You know?
they already are. They're losing out on their graduations already. Their proms. That's been taken away from these kids. That's really sad.
There's a load of kids there too, and not even getting to do their exams this year. You know, that's crazy. Like, I just can't believe how quickly the world has stopped, and there's been a lot of emphasis being put on. There's been a lot of emphasis put on a second wave of COVID, a third wave, even a fourth wave of COVID, and that's one of the things that I learned in that video about that rabbi that he had posted about the Messiah coming back and whatnot, and at this time that we're all put in our houses, that we're all in lockdown, we should be using this. We should be they should be willing, you know, asking like for forgiveness and the Messiah to come, because if they don't, then it's going to come back. It's going to come again 10 times harder, because that's what it says. And then that makes me think, oh shit, they've been sitting talking about the second wave and all, and I say, okay, so if things don't go to their way this time, then next time it's going to come 10 times harder at us. You know, so while COVID might not look much now, if there's a second wave, I reckon it's going to be a lot worse than what it is at the minute. Just from what I've seen being pumped around the media and, you know, the news organizations, and then listening to what you know, the Jewish faith is talking at the minute. It's quite, you know. There's Zero in. What about you, Zero? But
Oh, are you there? I was going to say you're buffering.
was a buffer.
No,
Was
I
that? I
know.
wouldn't be surprised, but I've noticed every night this starts happening to me on the internet connection. I start buffering a lot. I've noticed my modem starts as if it's it's buffering, like it's resetting or something, and my internet will go off round about this time. So don't. If I do get cut off, apologies. Yeah, anything you want to add, Renee, or what? Or
No, I think we covered a lot. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. We got to get back to basics, and we got Lee Veltman in China to fucking with everybody.
I think it was basically what I've seen this week. That's what I've covered.
We need to bring
But
back
it-
Wanker of the Week. I put my official vote in.
I don't know. That was a Scooby thing, and I might do something different. I might come up with something different, but it might not necessarily be about YouTube. You see, kind of what I always seen Wanker of the Week is taking a piss and mocking the channels that were trying to con us.
So we need something new.
Other people saw that as me being attacking. So I would rather come up with something that
We could
allowed
do
me.
Whinger of the Week.
Whinger of the Week, eh?
Who's whining the loudest? Because there's lots of victims. That's something we were going to talk about, remember?
Yeah. The victims never want to come. The victims never want to come and talk to you, though. It's funny that.
Well, only because they need a controlled environment, They need to be able to control the environment or the LARP is over.
Yeah.
Oh, Philemon 2 was up and and I see Gandalf. What's up, Gandalf?
Five channelers around plenty, believe me.
Yeah.
You haven't been looking hard enough.
He just
My
put a
goodness.
video out like a half an hour ago.
He's around. Controlling. Same with Mr. Veltman.
Velty McVeltman.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's nighttime. What's it matter? We all just go to sleep anyway, get up the next day, rinse and repeat.
Yep.
I just try and get about my daily day. I even for being on lockdown, man, I still get so much crap going on. It's ridiculous.
You've impressed Will. That's amazing.
I've impressed who?
Will. Villimer, whatever his name is.
I'm not sure who that is.
That's Will / Toby. He comes from oh crap. Todd Grundle.
Yeah, okay.
That's my kitty, Becky. It's my little boy kitty. He's a big purr monster.
In case anybody's wondering, that's actually a dingo avatar. It's not a golden jackal. I'll have to change it to a golden jackal. I found these golden jackals by accident, and they're actually a cracking creature. They're European, obviously, and I thought, may as well use a European dog. But I think in general, look, there's a whole pocket of us. There's more, and hopefully more and more people will start coming around and just saying, you know what, I had enough of all this crap, man. I just want to go about YouTube, watch a few videos, be able to discern what's real and what's not, and get together and talk with people on live streams to discuss, what do you think of this and what do you think of that, And I'm not. If somebody thinks differently from me, I'm not going to condemn them to hell. For it. That's the way it should be. People should be allowed to speak up. Even if even your worst enemy should be allowed to speak up and tell you, express what's fucking going on with them. Maybe if that was happening, that they wouldn't be your enemy. You wouldn't have such an issue with them in the first place. But there's puppeteers in the background to pull the strings in a lot of this. So there is a lot, and you go around these pockets, you start to realize you'll see more and more of the same people in the background. Sometimes they use a different account, but it doesn't take too long to realize that, okay, that is that person, because somebody always says the real, who they are or whatever, and then you see that, okay, why are these people going around all these pockets causing mayhem, putting coming off with stupid friggin' blue chicken nonsense, I don't even think people were believing that in the first place. I think I don't know.
Timestamps for research.
Timestamps for research. Yeah, that's definitely something to do with it. But yeah, I mean it's interesting times anyway. I don't know. I see David Icke got took off the platform.
Yeah, what was that stream about that got taken down?
Well, it was a stream a few weeks ago where he was more or less, he was connecting 5G with COVID. Now, I don't believe in everything that David Icke says or does. There's some things I would tend to kind of, right, okay, I would listen to, and if it ends up making sense, so be it. If it doesn't, sure, what's the loss? But he's had his platform stripped away for connecting COVID with 5G and talking about it openly. And I feel that's wrong. People should be allowed to talk about things. And there was supposed to be a live stream today. I haven't seen it myself.
It got that was the one that got taken down, I believe.
Today?
It got cut. They stopped the stream. It went private.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, it was the same one, I do believe, and they had 80,000 viewers, and it just cut. Kick and Tretch know about it. I didn't see it happen, but they were talking about it.
I haven't seen it myself, but I mean, I don't think it's right that he should lose his channel over it. Definitely not. People should be entitled to learn and question.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why, if there is no connection there, instead of closing everything down and stopping your freedom of speech and your freedom to question and all that there, and being told basically the only narrative that's going to be right is the government, is the one that you're told. That's more or less the message that's being spoke to me about all this. You're only allowed to listen to your government, and that's it. You're not allowed to question. If you think that if you're trying to associate something else is causing COVID-19, then you're going to be punished for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really shit. So I don't agree with that at all. I don't see why authorities actually. Do you know what I would rather see happen? I would rather see a mainstream organization bring David Icke on, bring on an expert,
And prove them wrong.
bring on an expert in 5G and bring on a top of the range, top of the field doctor in respiratory conditions, and talk it out with him and show him, tell him he's wrong, and bring the evidence with him. You know, I would rather see that happen than anything else. That's the only way I believe it should happen, but it doesn't happen. So
Yeah, why don't they get them together to debate the issue? It's more about hiding information than having an open discussion. I mean, if that doesn't tell people what we're dealing with, I mean, good heavens.
well, it's not only David Icke that lost his channel. There's plenty of other people who have lost their channels as well because of it. Far smaller channels too, like because they've connected this or they're talking about it. You know, I don't know if they're saying this is the absolute truth. You know, 5G is going to kill us all and whatnot. I haven't actually seen any independent endorsed, studies of 5G to be able to say. And even then, there should be more than one source. There should be, a couple of different independent organizations that should be looking into the repercussions of 5G on our health before it even goes live. And I haven't been able to find any of them. I don't even know if there's a government sanctioned one. I did. There was something went on in some committee meeting in America or whatever, and a senator or something asked a question how much money has been spent in researching, the harms and all this here, and they said none. So they're not even looking into how this could affect people. And then you see the way we're all told to social distance, that just fuels into the conspiracy all the more that that they need a distance between people, to calibrate stuff and all the rest of it. Like, I mean, I don't believe that, but that's part of the conspiracy of it all, you know. And people talking about conspiracy theories. I mean, my goodness, we are branded like we're freaking lunatics. You know, you're branded like you're a lunatic. Zero. I don't think anybody's banned you, mate. I like to think.
I have to be right back. I have a tick situation. I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't think anybody's banned you, Zero. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that people are losing their channels over something like that there that, you know, but then they're buying the pressure of outside organizations putting the pressure on them to ban these people. We've got there's a lady over here, she works on a TV program called Countdown. And, she puts out, she's very much against the truth movement or conspiracies or anything like that there. And she's really freaking leading the charge and getting channels like David Icke's taken down and stuff like that there. I don't see any of your comments deleted either, Zero. I can see Zero Infinity and I can see Zero Infinity Live too. So you're here. I don't see anybody that's banned you, mate. In fact, I don't even think there's any mods. The only mod here is myself and Renee, and I haven't banned you. Zero infinity message deleted. Your message to Soy Doomer is still there about getting into the chat. It's still there. Well, I don't know. I can see it. Oh, looks like he was timed out. Was he, Kickstand? I don't know. I didn't time him out, but there is other people in there. I'm not even watching the YouTube chat, so I'm watching the StreamYard version. Uh, okay, so apparently you were timed out, Zero, but all your comments are coming up in here in StreamYard anyway. That's the one I'm watching. They're all there. So now last week there was a load of there was I blocked a load of people last week, and whenever the chat came through after the video, their comments were visible for whatever reason. So I don't know if it's something to do with Streamlabs, and StreamYard and YouTube or something. I don't know. There seems to be some sort of issue because it didn't make sense to me that I blocked people, and then whenever the video went up afterwards, and it showed the chat of people that I blocked on the, which is not supposed to, obviously. So it must be some sort of, I don't know. I'm watching the StreamYard chat, not the YouTube, so I don't know who's doing anything, who's doing what. So, well, on that note, I think I'm all talked out, folks. I think that's it. I don't know what else to talk about. Sing a song, maybe. Any of these Monty Python fans? I like Monty Python myself. You can't beat a good Monty Python film. God, they should have done so much more. They really should have. We need Monty Python. We need comedy like Monty Python around these days. So funny. In fact, I may even, when I get off here, I think I'll stick on the Holy Grail. That's a funny one. They're all good. All the Monty Python movies are good. They mean the life of Brian, Flying Circus. They're just cracking. They're good shows, good movies. Very funny, especially the part. I've been thinking about getting the parts. So I've been wondering how the cats would react if I got a part. I think one of the cats would be fine. He'd be pretty chilled out about it, but the other one I think would be a lunatic. Who knows? I always wanted a pet raven when I was a kid, or a crow. Apparently, a crow can live up to 70 years, folks. You know, apparently a crow can live 70 years. That fact, I think that's amazing. Yeah, ravens are lovely, lovely birds, so they are. In fact, they're a bit cat-like, really, in their personalities, 'cause they kind of take you or leave you. If they're up for it, you know, if they're up for your company, or, you know, bit of interaction with you, they'll play into it, no problem. But if they're not up for it, they're not interested in playing your, you know, they'll they'll let you know. So I always wanted to have one whenever I was a kid, like, you know. I did get a jackdaw when I was a kid. I did have a jackdaw for a short period of time, but I wasn't allowed to keep him. So you shouldn't be allowed to keep them either. They're wild birds. Isn't that crazy, Kickstand? Because in the likes of dogs, it's the opposite. The bigger the dog, the shorter the life. Smaller the dog, the longer the life. Whereas birds, the bigger the bird, the longer its life. Crazy. Oh, hummingbirds! Yeah, hummingbirds are amazing. Amazing looking. You know, fascinating how they're able to do what they do. But I mean, apparently that's all evolution. That's all evolved. I mean, I don't buy that myself, obviously, but I believe things were created myself. But you know, each to their own. Yeah, because I expect it. I would expect my cats to live to about 16, 18 years old. So what? Because I figured that would take me to my 60s. I don't know. I'd love to freaking have a nice big house with a bit of land out in the country. So I'd love that. That would be the ideal scenario. It's not going to happen, like, but a couple of dogs, cats, birds. Yeah.
I'm
Kickstand.
back.
Hi, Renee. Kickstand. We'll have to get
Hey.
you on here someday and have a chat about birds and stuff. You know, I know my friend had like St. Bernards years ago. He used to breed them, and if you were really, really lucky, you would get 7 or 8 years out of a St. Bernard. But the average age was around about 6 years old. You don't, you, and I thought that's pretty sad, man. Having a dog just for 6 years. You know, that's a very short time. It's a long time in doggy years, but it's a very short time to have a pet grow up from a puppy, get into adulthood, and then old age and pass away. Like, it's really, really short. 6 years is nothing nowadays. You know. But yeah, Kick, we'll have to get you on someday, and we'll have a chat about the birds and all the rest of it. Renee, have you anything you'd like to add?
No, I think I've run my mouth enough for today. Well, for now.
Yeah, go
Who
wash it
knows
out with
what tonight
soap, girl.
brings?
Go wash our mouth out with
Pretty
soap.
much. You better send. I want some Irish Springs, Kofi.
I'll,
Send it along.
I'll send you
behave
over a bottle
myself
of
for now.
Bushmills. I'll
What is
send-
that?
Whiskey from over here. That'll sterilize your mouth for you.
Oh, yep.
That'll sterilize it
And
so
send
well.
Guinness. Send Guinness, please.
Oh, no, do you like Guinness? Oh, man.
I
Renee?
do. I don't. The only place I like it is in Ireland. It tastes different there.
Oh, yeah, it tastes different, all right, because
You-
all the shit,
and I
shit
heard
out of
you-
that's in the water.
I heard that they send us the shitty fucking regular water. Like,
I'm gonna tell you where fucking Guinness is big. Where it's probably the biggest.
where?
Full stop. Nigeria.
Really?
Fuck it. Oh, I'm
Are
telling
you
you.
sure?
Yeah.
They like
Yeah.
Guinness?
Oh, they've mad for it over there. Mad for it.
No kidding. So are all the
Yeah.
fucking hicks and shit in the country.
They're
They love
mad
that
for it.
shit.
Like I like it's not that I've nothing against Guinness in general, right? It's probably a lovely product, right? But I can't even bring myself to even taste it. When I see it being poured into a glass, that just turns my stomach. It literally does.
That's terrible.
I can't. I couldn't drink it. I mean, fuck. I would have to be walking through a desert for 3 days before I would drink it.
You don't
Honestly.
need to eat. You just have 2 Guinness and it's dinner and your beer in
I
one.
know. It's it's like you need a knife and fork for it, so you do.
Yeah, but it doesn't get you I liked it because it doesn't get you yucky drunk or anything. It's sort of like because it's like food and drink all at the same time. It's sort of I had 3 and I expected to have like a problem, at least be kind of drunky, right? And I wasn't. It was kind of like a nice buzz and I was also full too. I was like, this is quite nice, and I was sort of done. Like, okay, well that was fun. I had my dinner
Yeah.
and drinks all in one sitting. But that's where I learned to like Stella was over in the UK. There's several of the beers over there that are pretty good. Just depends on what you're doing.
Well, Stella's nickname is the wife beater.
Oh God, is that what the freaking
That's what everybody calls it, the wife beater, because fucking
the pikeys drink it?
because people freaking get too aggressive on it and beat their wives, I suppose.
It's from Belgium.
I-
Are Belgian people violent?
I don't know. Don't think so. But I think I've never really been a beer drinker myself. Never, never really enjoyed it. Whenever you come of age and you go to a pub for no, I was straight into the spirits, so it was,
Oh, the spirits.
Yeah, I was straight on the vodka, man. I don't need to pace myself with friggin' beers and all that crap, man. But whenever I went out for a night, my main focus was go out, have some drinks, have a laugh, and go home. And the quickest way to do that was drinking vodka.
Get to the point. Well, I guess I was out on a quote unquote kind of like a business dinner sort of thing, and the guy was like straight up right into the martinis. I was like, wow, you mean business? And he had 2, and it was like that was it. And he was probably feeling pretty good, I would imagine. Straight to the point.
Here, I just want to address something there in the chat.
The chat.
Zero, calling taco cunts and cats. What's that all about?
Zero, go away.
If you don't want to be here
Go
and get
away,
on with
dude.
people,
Go be with your people. It's not here.
go elsewhere, man. We've been fine all night. We've had a few people come in and out, but not interested in nonsense, mate. If you want to sit and chill, no problem. But If you're gonna sit and, be childish.
Yeah, who does he mimic? Zero, let's see. Who is in your repertoire? You've got Lepo in your repertoire. You've got Zern and Flat Earth in your repertoire. Now you've got Eric Spitfire in your repertoire. Anyone else you need to copy?
Hold on.
Get
Someone
fucked.
is Hold on, Renee. It says there, someone is mimicking tacos. He just said name. It showed I was wrong. Okay, so he wasn't having to go at tacos. Apparently somebody else come in. Apologies, Zero. We were wrong.
Are you sure he says it's a fake account? We can't
I
check now, can we? Still, I know you're a deuce anyway, so
I don't
here's
know.
the
I'm not
insert.
I'm not watching the YouTube chat. I'm just watching the other chat. It's, yeah, it says I've misunderstood what happened. Yes, yeah. So I misunderstood that. Apologies, Zero.
I don't apologize intentionally.
You can come back and troll us if you want. I don't know. See, I'm not watching the chat or Yahoo chat. I can't see if anybody's took any action or anything like that there. So, oh well, it is what it is. Anyway,
Darling,
What?
I want us to do our victim stream.
I don't know if that's a stream for us, but I know what you mean. I do get. I understand exactly what you're saying there. No worries, Zero. I misunderstood the situation. Apologies. You will see it's very difficult to pay attention to the chat and talk with somebody in the room. That's why I leave it to moderators to deal with things. Anyway, yes, you're right, Renee. We should maybe do it, but I don't think people will like the angle of where I'm coming from with that one either. But we should do because we've identified the traits of the psychopaths in YouTube. We've talked about the puppeteers. I suppose it's only right that we talk about people who are victim of the puppeteers. Now the question is, who are the actual victims? Is it the people they're attacking, or is it the people that are being manipulated, or is it both? The people being manipulated to attack, or is it both? This is going to sound totally a wee bit off the cuff as well, but I totally believe that maybe maybe we're going to be introduced to somebody who's being attacked, and we're going to be introduced to them soon. I also see a narrative that Veltman is producing at the minute of what is it again? Yeah, there's a narrative of we are, programming hate towards other people by making our videos, and somebody is going to end up acting on one of those videos, and somebody will get hurt, possibly serious hurt, and then. So I wouldn't be surprised, they'll hardly be able to do it now, but I would have been expecting a bit of alert from them that a YouTuber that maybe we had issues with has went and harmed themselves because of us. Whenever, that's the narrative I see being played out at the minute, or trying to be played out or established. And I think it's very important that if we do see a narrative build up or we notice something happening, we should talk about it because that takes it away from them. They can't use it then. No, if it's been spotted and people start talking about it, then they have to go back to the drawing board and come up with something else. Because if we're the people that's supposedly doing this, but yet we're calling out what we see happening, then how can they act on it? So it's definitely important that if you see a narrative being built up, or you think somebody is a group of people are starting to build a LARP, talk about it, bring it to other people's attention. Zero, I haven't seen that about George Webb and the CNN article, but he was somebody that I did mention a couple of times in previous streams where it was like, you know, this is really happening, folks. This guy is caught in the middle of, you know, the COVID-19 pandemic. I need the Scooby. Not sure what that means. What? So yeah, I'd probably do Sunday streams. Maybe probably be more than probably be seeing the stream on a Sunday more than anything. But I'll try and get twice a week anyway. I'll try and get one on a Sunday and one maybe Thursday or something. You know.
Sounds good.
And on that note, folks, I can't think of anything else to say. It's like 3 hours almost. We've had a reasonable chat in here tonight. We've had reasonable numbers viewing. And the chat hasn't been too upset. People have been able to chat and confit, amongst each other without getting too much shit. And here, just out of curiosity, if everybody could in the chat now, I've got a general question for people here. Would you rather, do you think it would be better that I private my chat, what people can see on the replay, the chat stream, or do you think I should just leave it so people can see it? Just curious, if you think I should leave it so people can see it, press 1. And if you think I should take it down so people can't see it, press 0. Or just don't press anything, sorry. No, maybe not. Maybe don't vote at all. I don't know. Because then you get singled out if I leave it up. Fucking hell. Then you get finger pointed. I don't want to do that to anybody.
Do the opposite of whatever Zero says.
What's Zero say?
Leave it.
Is he anti-troll, is he?
Yep.
Well, transparency. The only people that believe in transparency is the people who want to get as much information from you as possible. That's the way I see it, anyway. I mean, I see people blatantly, and I mean blatantly, lie over and over again, like it's the truth. And they will tell you it's the truth, but they will never show you the truth. They'll always tell you what the truth is, but they'll never show you. They never produce evidence, none of that stuff, which, seems to fire people up. It's just, last week, I didn't realize just how many people actually come afterwards who come afterwards to look at the stream, to read the chat, to see who's been saying what, and just be mindful, people, that I know it's difficult to try and remember what you might have said to people in a live stream or whatever, but it's always kind of try to be mindful of what you have said, so that if somebody comes after you, you know where they got it from. It's just, it seems to be I feel a bit tactical, that, to go through the chat streams of people. So anyway, folks, it's interesting times. Thank you very much for coming around, and yeah, I'll make a decision about that there. But if I do decide to take the chat away, don't be too upset with me. I understand why some people keep it up, and some people keep it as part of the replay in Streamlabs. So if someone deletes something, it still shows up regardless. I understand why people do that. But if I do decide to, you know exactly why. And on that note, folks, thank you very much for coming by. Adios, amigos. Jackal out.
Bye.
Cheerio.